SeaWorld Orlando has been opening a record-breaking number of coasters recently. Not only that, but they have already begun construction on a brand new roller coaster set to open up at the park next year. SeaWorld Orlando isn't just building a ton of roller coasters for no reason though. There's a secret reason I think is causing SeaWorld Orlando to build a ton of new coasters. And I think the new 2024 coaster they open may be the last coaster to open at the park for a long time. SeaWorld used to get new coasters every couple of years, with them getting their B&M Flying Coaster Manta in 2009 and their B&M Hypercoaster Mako 7 years later in 2016. Then the park was preparing to open a brand new coaster in 2020, but obviously that got delayed. SeaWorld Orlando ended up opening their premier rides launch coaster Icebreaker in 2022. The park then went on to begin construction on the new B&M Surf Coaster the park would be getting for 2023, and they would later announce its name, Pipeline the Surf Coaster. SeaWorld Orlando was opening two new coasters in back-to-back years, but being that Icebreaker was delayed from 2020, it wasn't that crazy. Recently, we've been seeing construction throughout SeaWorld Orlando for what looks like a brand new coaster for 2024. SeaWorld Orlando is trying to become the roller coaster capital of Florida, but I feel like they've been adding so many coasters recently that it's getting crazy. I was thinking about SeaWorld Orlando and the Florida coaster market when I realized the real reason I think SeaWorld Orlando is getting so many new coasters. First of all, the new coasters SeaWorld has been getting are quite balanced. Icebreaker is the family launch coaster that has a 48-inch height requirement now, offering thrills for younger riders. SeaWorld Orlando has a bunch of B&Ms, and those are all 54-inch height requirement. So Icebreaker was definitely a great fit for the park. The park's new coaster, Pipeline the Surf Coaster, is also a perfect fit for the park. While Pipeline is a coaster from B&M that also has a 54-inch height requirement, it is by far the most appealing to younger riders from all the B&Ms in the park. Pipeline doesn't stand too tall and only features one inversion, meaning that this coaster is the perfect stepping stone from Icebreaker to the park's major B&Ms. The interesting thing about Pipeline is that not only does it have a very massive appeal in the sense that younger riders are more likely to ride it, the coaster is also extremely unique. If SeaWorld Orlando would have built a 110-foot floorless coaster that only had one inversion, it would be quite the boring ride. Pipeline is a new revolutionary second-generation stand-up coaster, and the way the seats on the trains move up and down make for a sensation no other coaster offers. The airtime you get on the coaster is probably multiplied by 1,000 when your seat lifts up at the same time as you pop up for the air. Pipeline's color scheme and placement in the park is also absolutely beautiful, and I honestly think it will be an extreme success at the park. So overall, SeaWorld Orlando's recent coaster additions seem to fit right into rounding out the park. The park now has a total of 7 coasters. There's the kiddie ride and the log flume coaster called Journey to Atlantis. Then the next step up is Icebreaker. After that, the park has Pipeline the Surf Coaster with its 1 inversion, and then you have the Flying Coaster Manta with its 4 inversions. Kraken has 7 inversions, and finally, Mako is the park's crown jewel, standing at a whopping 200 feet tall, offering one of the best ride experiences in the world. SeaWorld Orlando's coaster lineup is super well-rounded. The only thing they're missing now is a family coaster that's a little tamer than Icebreaker. That's what I think the park is building for 2024. A lot of people are predicting that the park's 2024 coaster will be a family launch coaster of some kind. Whether it's an Intamin straddle coaster or a Mack Rides multi-launch, it most probably will be some sort of launching family coaster. I'm not going to get into what specific model I think SeaWorld Orlando is getting for 2024 because there's not enough information at the time I'm making this video for me to give an accurate prediction. That being said, I think it's safe to assume the park's new coaster will be some sort of family launch coaster. Once SeaWorld Orlando opens their brand new 2024 coaster, their lineup of coasters will be super well-rounded. At that point, I think the next most logical thing for the park to do would be to add a new massive, super thrilling roller coaster that's better than Mako. All this leads to why I think the park is rushing its new addition for 2024. Universal is opening its brand new park, Epic Universe, in 2025, and that will be one of the biggest new additions the amusement industry has seen in a long time. All the hype in 2025 will be on Universal, and no matter what type of new roller coaster Seaworld Orlando would open, it most definitely wouldn't be able to compete with the hype and excitement of an entire park filled with awesome rides opening right nearby. That is exactly why I think SeaWorld is cramming in their new family coaster for 2024. The park wants to open the new family coaster the right way before Universal opens its brand new park. All this would be absolutely perfect for SeaWorld. After back-to-back coasters 3 years in a row, it would make perfect sense for the park to take a break in 2025, and then they'd be able to come back in 2026 or 2027 by building an awesome thrilling coaster that could top Mako. I think this is the real reason why SeaWorld is rushing their new coaster for 2024, and not only that, but I think they also pushed up any plans for a new coaster at Busch Gardens Tampa to 2024. I think Busch Gardens Tampa was originally supposed to open their next coaster in 2025, but now with Epic Universe's grand opening just around the corner, I think Busch Gardens Tampa's new coaster will come in 2024. The park has already filed plans to start removing rides and potentially start construction in an area of the park that really needs it. A new coaster is on its way to Busch Gardens Tampa, and it may be the best coaster in the world once it opens. I made an entire video on Busch Gardens Tampa's secret 2024 coaster. Click here to find out what Busch Gardens Tampa is building for 2024 and why I think this rumored new coaster will become the best coaster on earth once it opens.